Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I hope you remember when Ukraine launched those S-300, I think there were two missiles that they were supposed to hit the Russian missiles and somehow they ended, that's how the story goes, ended and landed in Poland, killing two people in a village. If you remember that incident, you also remember that within an hour after the incident occurred, Zelensky and his guys said that it was the Russian missiles that attacked Poland and suggested and urged Poland to activate Article 5 of NATO, which means we've been under attack, everyone must join us in defending our territory, which was attacked by Russia. Remember that one? Okay. If you don't remember, 2 clicks away. That's how far you are from that news. Then, if you remember, it was shown and proven that it was actually the Ukrainians' missiles, S-300s, that landed and killed those Polish people. And then that seemed like a provocation, an attempt to provoke NATO into attacking Russia somehow, or getting in a hot war with Russia, because they are in a certain kind of war right now, but not really officially, man versus man. Now that's gone. That was a failed attempt. I don't think the Ukrainians ever confirmed or said, yes, agreed, that was our rocket. I don't remember them saying that. Nevertheless, let's move back to today. Today, 2 Russian caliber cruise missiles were launched from more than 2, but we're talking about specifically 2, launched from the Black Sea to go and hit the west of Ukraine. And on their way, they crossed Moldova's territory, the air, violated the airspace of Republic of Moldova, and they passed 35 kilometers, which was about 25, let's say, miles from the territory of Romania. Romania scrambled to MiG-21s, but nothing happened. Those rockets kept going, missiles kept going, and then entered Ukraine. Now there was a violation of Moldova's airspace. When that happened, the Ukrainians came out and said, well, the 2 missiles violated the Ukrainian airspace and their NATO member Romanian airspace. So that's a violation. How about you guys do what we asked you? They didn't say it, but they said, well, NATO member airspace was violated. That's how the Ukrainska Pravda, New Voice of Ukraine, Ukraine Forum, the Ukrainian mass media was claiming. That was at 5 o'clock a.m. Kiev time. Then when that happened, 5, 6 o'clock, the Romanians came out and said, well, you know what? No, actually, it didn't cross into our territory. It passed 35 kilometers east of our territory. So it didn't cross our territory. We followed the NATO procedures. We scrambled to MiG-21s, and nothing happened in Romania. But it was over Moldova. Moldova is not a NATO member state. Ukraine today, still right now, has on those sites still that the titles and the same articles stating that those missiles crossed into NATO territory. Still, they are over there, even though the Minister of Defense of Romania came out and said about 45 minutes after Zaluzhny, or whatever his name is, the Chief of Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces, came out and said, well, those 2 missiles crossed into NATO states. What are you going to do? And the Minister of Defense of Romania says, no, they didn't. So they were informed. Everybody knows that. But it seems like not everybody knows that. So I have this little article here. And this is from Ukrainska Pravda. And again, this is 10th of February. It is at 21:01. That's 9 p.m. This is, I'm assuming, Kiev's time. Okay, because right now here it's more than that. So it was Kiev time. And look what these guys are saying. I saw this article earlier today, so it must have been Kiev time. So it was Kiev time 21. Remember, from 5:50 when Zaluzhny came out and said, at 6:40 the Romanian came and said no. They had from 6 o'clock until 9 o'clock p.m. more than what, 14, 15 hours to retract. And look at the title. Read it. US sees no military threat for Romania and Moldova after Russian missiles violate their, plural, airspace. This is Friday, the 10th of February at 9 p.m. today over there. They said this after about what? As I said, 6 o'clock, let's put it 7 o'clock a.m. At 7 o'clock a.m. Kiev time, Romania time. That was stated by the Romanian Minister of Defense. No, it was not over our territory. So these guys are, after what? 14 hours. They come up with an article continuing to claim that the missiles went over that. Now, and I will have here another article coming from Bloomberg, which that means you have to accept it. Bloomberg, Romania says no Russia missile crossed airspace after Kiev claim. And what time was this? This was 6:44 a.m., but this was US time, Eastern time right here. So in Ukraine, at about 9 hours or something, so it was about in the afternoon. So even Bloomberg knew, but these guys continue here to say their airspace. Believe me, that's not a mistake. All right, if it's a mistake, then it's a very serious mistake. Now, that's not really the subject of this video, though it is, because it seems like a provocation. That's one thing that I picked out of this. This is there. It's a very important, word here. Now we have another one that's going to be here in the statement made by Vedant Patel, representative of the U.S. State Department, said that Washington does not consider Romania or Moldova to be likely targets of Russia's latest missile attack against Ukraine. So that's unimportant. The important thing is right here that I think is important. And it is in quotation marks, and I'm going to read it right now. At this time, we have no indication of a direct military threat by Russia against Moldova or Romania. Okay, nothing important here. This sentence is very important. More broadly, we support Moldova's sovereignty and territorial integrity as well as its constitutionally guaranteed neutrality, Patel said during a briefing on Friday. You might say, well, that goes without saying. Yeah, so what's so important? Well, they didn't mention Romania. That's one thing here. They just mentioned Moldova. That's one thing. And the other one, why did they need to say more broadly, we support this thing? Remember, Moldova's sovereignty and territorial integrity, as well as constitutionally guaranteed neutrality. I made a video earlier, about 5 hours ago or so, talking about, if you remember, if you don't, just go and watch that little video, about possibly another front opening in Moldova. Moldova, the MPs of Moldova, the parliamentarians, came out with a new law that goes in front of Sandu, which is the president of Moldova, Republic of Moldova. And if she signs it, it becomes law. And it's about criminalizing the leadership of Transnistria. Transnistria is a separatist region that used to be part of Moldova after 1991, after the dissolution of USSR. So it came back, which actually was not, but historically I'm not going to go in that. Nevertheless, it was within the borders of Moldova, which still is right now. Legally, that part, Transnistria, over the Dnipro, I think that's how we call it, Dnipro, I think it is. It's a portion over there, a little strip east of Moldova that has about 1,000 Russian troops, and those guys are separatists. They are with Russia. Now, those guys are, the Russian military are not just an occupation. They, I think, were recognized by the Europeans something like as peacekeeping force, however you want to call it. I think that this is a moment when Moldova is trying to get that back. Why? Russia busy over there, and they try to get the West intervene. I don't know if they're spoken or not. But why do I say that? They passed a law, or tried to pass a law today. What a coincidence. that will criminalize those guys over there. That means they are illegal. They will go to arrest them because it's actually under the jurisdiction of Moldova. When they're going to go over there to arrest them, those guys will shoot at them. Then Moldova will say those guys attacked us, it's a insurrection or something, whatever weasel term they're going to use. We need to go with the army. Now that's only 900 and some Russian troops. That's not a lot. They don't have any other airplanes, tanks or something. They're weak. So if I'm assuming the Moldovans enter that thing without the Russian help, they will just take it back. They will do whatever they want over there. And this is the right time, I think, in their mind. That's what I think it goes behind the scenes. The Russians could not intervene but go down if they go down in the Black Sea and they start shooting missiles on Moldova. And that gets me back to this statement by this guy here, who is what? U.S. representative of the U.S. State Department. We support Moldova's sovereignty, which is the country plus Transnistria, and territorial integrity, that includes Transnistria, as well as its constitutionally guaranteed neutrality. But if someone attacks them, they support Moldova. So what does that mean to you? Or to us? That means that when the Moldovans are going to go in to enforce the new law that Sandu will sign, those guys will oppose them. The Moldovans will win because there are 800 people over there. Russia cannot come with a military. They could only send missiles, and that's some kind of number, 10, 20, 30. You know, it's too far to send, I think, the S-300s, the most that they have. Calibre is too expensive. Iskander the same way. So what's going to happen? If Russians attack or do that, the West will jump and say, hey, see? The aggressor wants to expand the war. See, after Ukraine is going to be Moldova, after Moldova is going to be Romania, after Romania is going to be Poland, after Poland is going to be Germany. See, we were right. And Great Britain. So, pay more in taxes, go to work, keep your mouth shut, consume whatever they consume, watch TV, we're telling you how the world is, and we're going to take care of the Russians. And we have to intervene because they aggressed the sovereign country of Moldova, which is true. That sovereign country of Republic of Moldova, which I don't know why it's still a country. I've said it many times. It was taken, that land was taken by Stalin in 1940 through an ultimatum, told Romania, that's ours, if not, we're going to come and fuck you up. All right? And Romania says, oh, okay. And then they ally themselves with the Nazis, so they take that back and other territories that was given to Stalin. And then after the Soviets won and beat the Russians, took those territories that they already taken in 1940, and they became the Socialist Soviet Republic of Moldova within the Soviet Union. Part of Moldova was given to Ukraine, the southern part of Moldova, given, just like this, like what's his name, Khrushchev gave Crimea in 1954, I think it was, to Ukraine from Russia, I think, surprise, right? Because it was always Ukraine, I guess, Crimea, right? And then what happened? After 1991, Soviet Union dismembered, and what's normal? That part that was taken should come back. But no, they said, the big bosses said, no, we don't allow that to happen. Moldova is going to be a new country over there, a new problem. And then the Transnistria, whatever happened over there, and that's how we got this little, I would say, artificially created country of Moldova. No insult, but you don't belong alone, all right? But if you want to belong alone, then other countries can belong alone by the right of self-determination, if you know what I mean. So I think Moldova is used right now as a new front that will open. And guess what country will be used to bring weapons and troops and whatever is necessary to Moldova? Yes, Romania. Exactly. Romania is a NATO country. So, and then we'll say, well, the Russians, the aggressors. I think that's how the scenario will play in about next 10 days. Because if that law is going to be implemented now, I don't think it's going to take more than 10 days to say, no, we have to implement it, we have to apply it. The guys in Transnistria already said, oh, hold on. Too late. What are you going to do? Your brothers are far away, so off. And but on the other hand, if we read this weasel phrase here, again, this is hypocritical right here. We support Moldova's sovereignty. How about Syria's sovereignty? Why don't you support Syria's sovereignty? And territorial integrity, as well as its constitutionally guaranteed neutrality. You might say, what the hell are you talking about, Emil? Exactly, what the hell am I talking about? You know the United States still has troops in Syria. Why? Because it can. So when United States supports what is right, support that country's sovereignty, what's the difference between Moldova and Syria? Can you tell me? A lot of difference, right? A lot of difference. Now, as a surprise, the about 1,000 that we know of troops that the United States has on the territory, sovereign country of Syria, they are located in the northeast of Syria. You know why? I said this 1,000 times. You know why? Because that's the richest, oil-richest region of Syria. And what do the Americans do over there? Yes, they just oversee, they're protecting the oil that it's sucked and given to the Syrian people. No. Protect the people who suck it, take it into Iraq, and then I don't know where that goes, but it doesn't go to the Syrian people. So when I read that little thing, it makes me think, you don't have principles or values. Why? Because you are picking and choosing, and that's not a value. I can say, okay, I condemn Gigi raping Mary, but I don't condemn Michael raping Jamie because Michael is my uncle. All right? Or I like Michael, but I don't like Gigi. Are both rapes? Both condemned. So I'm waiting for that Transnistria front to open. And NATO, little by little, and Romania, what are you going to do, Romania? Then you're going to see your ass in a war. Yeah, and you're going to celebrate and you're going to say, yeah, we're going to kick the Russians' ass. I want to see you then, weasels. But you have the Americans with you, you have other people with you, they're going to shoot from you. The Russians probably will shoot at you at one point, right? And then the Americans are going to go home 7,000 miles away from you, and you're going to be there with the Russians. And the Americans are going to retreat somewhere else, and they're going to shoot. Like in Ukraine right now. Ukraine is fighting, you know what I mean? So what are you going to do, Romania? Anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later, Romania.